Hi, today I'd like to try to do a short video about energy drink dangers. I know a lot of parents are concerned about energy drinks and what's in them, what dangers they present for their children, and this is reasonable. There's a lot of confusion about this because a lot of people aren't familiar with the ingredients that are in energy drinks. I've studied this issue a lot. I personally like energy drinks, but I am very particular about which one I will use. And if you're hoping that I'm going to just tell you to prohibit them in your house, I don't think that's a reasonable answer. I really don't think that you can enact prohibition. You may be successful to some degree, but there's a million places. Any kid can go down to your local convenience store and buy whatever they like. And the more you prohibit something, the more you prevent its use, the more appealing you make it. So think about that for what it's worth. You know, the big problem I see with energy drinks is how they're made. What is in them? There's a lot of difference in the ingredients in the energy drinks. The two basic things that you're going to find in all of them is some form of stimulant and either some form of, a form of sweetener. Whether it's a non-calorie sweetener or if it's sugar, or if it's high fructose corn syrup, which is the worst. Scientific studies have shown that high fructose corn syrup turns to fat about 40 times as easily as cane sugar. And neither one of them is good for you. So, you know, there's a lot of issues here. And to say that energy drinks are a terrible thing while you're allowing soda pop in the house doesn't make any sense. You've got caffeine in soda pop, in many forms of soda pop, and then you've got a lot of sugar. You've got absurd amounts of sugar. Sugar is your big problem. Sugar leads to diabetes, leads to obesity. These are a major problem, and they're a growing problem, a lifelong problem. So this is the hard talk about energy drinks. They can be made healthily. Coffee and tea are energy drinks. If you don't mess them up with a whole bunch of sugar and milk or artificial sweeteners, then all they are is energy drinks. And you know, if you get by fine without needing a little boost, then more power to you. I respect that. Unfortunately, I was started on coffee early in life, and now I find myself, I can't stand coffee. It's too strong. It's makes you angry, makes you unhappy with life, and life just can't go fast enough for a serious coffee drinker. It makes you impatient. Now, when you get a child on energy drinks, and especially if they're doing them repeatedly, I don't know if they're doing them away from your sight, but they could be. A lot of the problem is they're mixing alcohol with them, and who knows where this leads. Again, the big problem is caffeine and sugar. You get a lot of caffeine in your system, you're not going to sleep well. We know the kids need good sleep. We all need good sleep if we're going to perform well the next day. You mix alcohol in there, and the first thing that goes out is your judgment. So there's no wise judgment as to, well, where do you draw the line? Where do you stop? Where does a child stop? A child doesn't know his limits, his or her limits. So they may overdo it and end up in the hospital or worse. That's what you're afraid of. I mean, that's the biggie. That's the main issue. You don't want to lose a child because of overdosing on energy drinks, which are easily obtainable. But for that matter, they could overdose on caffeine pills, no dose. That's all it is. Most energy drinks are basically Kool-Aid with a bunch of no-dose dissolved in them. They flavor them, they conjure up wild stories about how they improve your athletic performance. Some actually can, but not the commercially available ones, not to any real degree. And it is in these commercial available ones that you get the real problems. There have been no problems with ones where guarana is the stimulant. Guarana, I feel, is the best stimulant in an energy drink, if you're going to drink one. It's a slow-acting form of caffeine, but it's much more complex than caffeine. It's a mellow form of caffeine. I don't know if kids would be as interested in it. They seem to want to push the limit. They seem to want to be, wildly overdosed, and they're looking for a drug trip, basically, in overdoing these energy drinks. You've got a tough job as a parent. There's no doubt about it. I guess the main message I have for you is that in looking at all the ingredients in energy drinks, the ones that are really dangerous, both long-term and short-term, are the caffeine anhydrous and sugar, or alternatively sucralose. Aspartame is the worst. NutraSweet, sugar-free drinks can be more dangerous than with sugar. Those are the big things. The taurine, that's a good thing. That actually is there to protect and to modulate the response of the body in creating all of this extra energy. Science has dealt with that. Science has done a lot of studies. Look it up on Wikipedia, and you'll find, if you understand the scientific language, that taurine is a good thing. Taurine acts as an antioxidant and helps the body deal with just all the stresses that it's under, but especially, as you put it, under higher stress to create more energy. It's a little bit complicated, but for what it's worth, energy drinks per se are not the demon that we have been led to believe that they are. If you choose a wise one to keep in your household, I would suggest the one that I drink, which is A.C.T. energy. It's powered by guarana, has very low levels of sugar in it, about 40 calories. Red Bull has 40 grams of sugar, roughly 39 grams. A.C.T. energy, I found, is the best one. I've been drinking it for 2.5 years. And I sleep well when it's time to sleep. I feel good during the day. I get a lot of work done. I'm not a professional public speaker, obviously, but I do my research and I'm able to think clearly on this issue. And energy drinks have potential when they're properly formulated, as A.C.T. energy is. So that's my take on the dangers of energy drinks. I hope it's useful to you. If you'd like to know more, visit my website, www.healthyplanetdiet.com. I wish you good health. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.